From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the afternoon edition, a potential disruption for thousands, tens of thousands of commuters, really. VTA workers say they are ready to strike on Monday. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Ann Makovic. 1,500 bus drivers, train operators, and other VTA employees are expected to walk off the job next week. At the VTA's board meeting last night, union members announced their plans to strike starting at 12:01 Monday morning. VTA says bus and light rail services will stop, but paratransit services will still be available. The agency says it has made a fair and reasonable offer and wants the union to return to the bargaining table. VTA is going to hold a news conference within the hour to discuss its plan ahead of this potential strike. We're going to have much more coming up tonight at 5. Traffic alert in the North Bay. A garbage truck crashed and rolled over, shutting down the northbound lanes of Highway 101 in Healdsburg. This happened near Limerick Lane. The CHP says the driver has minor injuries. Traffic is being diverted at Arata Lane while crews work to get that truck upright and clean things up. California joining 20 other states in suing the Trump administration over the mass firings of federal employees. They're all part of Elon Musk's DOGE cuts to government spending. More than 200,000 federal employees were serving a 1 to 2 year probationary period across the U.S., and those are the employees that were targeted. Attorney General Rob Bonta says that we don't know how many Californians were impacted yet because the Trump administration didn't follow proper procedures.
That's the point of the reduction in force procedure, to give states 60 days notice to identify who is losing their job, where they are, where they live, help them get a new job, to prepare for the support that they will need.
The attorneys general asking to pause more mass firings and reinstate everyone who was, quote, unlawfully terminated. The first jobs report of Trump's second presidency is out. It shows job growth was steady and largely unaffected by the president's efforts to slash the federal workforce. The U.S. added 151,000 jobs last month, despite the federal government slashing its workforce by 10,000 jobs. But today's report, of course, was done a while ago, 3 weeks ago, and only reflects a fraction of those layoffs. Another agency estimates that 62,000 federal jobs were cut in February, and critics are afraid this could just be the tip of the iceberg.
You know, we've got a few things going on at once. We've got a hiring freeze. And by the way, if the economy slows down, it has often been the government that hires during recessionary cycles. They don't usually let people go.
The employment rate inched up 4.1, or unemployment rate rather, inched up 4.1%. The White House celebrated the jobs report, saying America's manufacturing industry is staging a comeback. But that's not the case in all industries. Leisure and hospitality businesses lost jobs for the second consecutive month, driven by cuts at restaurants and bars. This morning, President Trump announcing that he is strongly considering new sanctions and tariffs on Russia. That comes days after he paused military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. Trump posting on his Truth Social platform that prospective sanctions could remain in place until the two sides come to a ceasefire and peace deal that would halt the 3-year war. The potential action appears to be in response to Russia launching drone and missile attacks on Ukrainian energy facilities. Meantime, President Trump says he could impose reciprocal tariffs on Canadian lumber and dairy products as early as today. Just yesterday, he announced a 1-month pause of 25% tariffs on imports to the U.S. from Mexico and Canada that are covered under a 2020 trade agreement. Natalie Brandt has the latest from the White House.
Even with a tariff pause on many goods from Canada and Mexico, uncertainty still looms over industries from agriculture to autos.
Sometimes you'll hear some negative things. It's always from outside countries. America will be very strong. And, you know, if I'm a foreign country, they're going to do fine. But they can't do like they used to do.
The pause announced Thursday applies to products covered under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement negotiated during the first Trump administration. Imports from Mexico range from building supplies to meat, fruits, and vegetables. The White House says the pause applies to about 38% of goods from Canada. It does not apply to energy imports, which will be taxed at a lower rate of 10%, as well as potash, a key ingredient in fertilizer that U.S. farmers use. Ontario feeds electricity to Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he's slapping a 25% tariff on that power starting Monday in response to President Trump's actions.
So that's the last thing I want to do. It's the last thing. But he has to understand that he can't attack our country economically and expect us to roll over.
China is also promising to fight to the end in a trade war. The foreign minister vowed to resolutely counter U.S. tariffs, but Beijing also signaled it's open to talks.
President Trump also appears to have taken a step to rein in Elon Musk's power. Yesterday, the president told agency leaders that they are the ones who make decisions about job cuts and that Musk is only there to make recommendations. Taking a live look outside this Friday afternoon. Yeah, we should enjoy the dry break while we have it because more rain is on the way next week. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Well, throughout the Bay Area, we are gearing up for another dry day with daytime highs sitting in the mid to low 60s all throughout the Bay Area, from San Jose and the Santa Clara Valley all the way up to wine country, too. It's been a pretty mild forecast for us so far, and as we head into the evening hours tonight, we're gearing up for just light winds pushing in from offshore and beautiful weather diving into this weekend. This weekend is going to be dry, but once we head into early next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, that's when we get that next batch of showers rolling in right around the corner for us. So as we time that out and take a look at the next 7 days, well, you're going to notice a little bit of a cool down associated with that cold front moving in from offshore, and that's going to bring in a series of showers for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, with daytime highs jumping right back into the 50s right around the corner. You make your way over into our inland spots, it's a very similar trend. Upper 60s today, tomorrow, lasting into Sunday. We cool right back down into the low 60s and upper 50s as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday with rainy conditions right around the corner. So keep that umbrella ready to go.
The city of Fremont being sued over its camping ban. The policy implemented last year made it illegal to camp out on public property, and those caught aiding the homeless could face up to 6 months in prison or a $1,000 fine. City told us it does not comment on pending litigation, but did say that enforcement is on hold until at least March 18th, when the council will consider an amendment to the ordinance. Meantime, San Jose is escalating its crackdown on the homeless crisis as well. Mayor Matt Mahan says too many people are repeatedly refusing shelter, and now he's proposing an ultimatum: move inside or face jail time. About 10,000 people faced housing insecurity in Santa Clara County, according to the last count that was in 2023. About 2,500 of them were sheltered, but a wide majority were still living in the streets. The mayor says the city is investing in solutions and has the shelter to offer people, and now he says it's on them to accept it.
We are going to create dignified indoor places with services for people to be as an alternative to the streets. We can't fulfill that promise and make good on that solution if 1 in 3 people say, no thanks, I'd rather stay here on the streets.
Mahan's proposal would expand the city's definition of trespassing to include sheltering on public streets for 3 days. If violators refuse shelter, they would get a warning first, and if they refuse 3 times within a year, they could end up going to jail. Just this week, the city opened up its second safe sleeping site that gives people living in RVs a safe place to sleep. The facility is taking on about 7 RVs a day until they reach full capacity. Homeless advocates say this site is more accessible than the city's first safe sleeping site. That was at the Santa Teresa VTA light rail station, because this one does not require drivers to be insured nor their vehicle to be registered. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area. Hundreds of people gathering for the opening of a new Costco in the East Bay. We're going to take a look at the lengths people went to get those deals. And the answer to reducing plastic waste could be right off our coast. The local startup that is looking at using seaweed instead of plastic. And let's take a live look outside before we head to break. Gorgeous shot of the city of San Francisco. We'll be right back. Today, the Bay Area's newest Costco store is officially open. It's in Brentwood, and it really could provide a boost to the local economy, especially in the East Lone Tree area. Our chopper flew over the packed parking lot a couple of hours ago, and our Veronica Macias was there even earlier, right as the doors opened. Yeah!
With the amount of people that showed up at this Costco warehouse in Brentwood today, you would think they were giving stuff away, but that's not the case. The community just super enthused that they have now opened their doors and there's going to be economic growth in their community. For the most part, those long lines, it was for booze. Tons of people showing up early, camping out, some as early as 10 a.m. yesterday morning. Costco, they say, really a catalyst for further development out here in Brentwood with plans for apartment homes nearby, and it's situated right off of Highway 4. You also have people this morning we talked to who have been walking by this site for a number of years, they say. They came to the warehouse's opening today filled with enthusiasm as their commute for shopping and gas has been reduced.
Super excited. We've watched it from the ground up. It's bringing the community together, and it's just an exciting thing for all of us.
What does it mean for the economic growth in Brentwood?
Well, certainly providing more jobs for the community and others who live in the surrounding area. Just a place that we all can come and shop that's accessible. I can walk here.
So with so many people here purchasing alcohol, so many people coming through the doors this morning, everything was done in an orderly fashion. We have seen several police officers here in the warehouse. We also spoke with the former mayor of Brentwood, who tells us that, he's not concerned for small business in the area because those small business owners themselves already shop at Costco. So lots of promise for economic development here in Brentwood.
And we're here on the store does have some specialty items today, like Hoka shoes, which I just found out about, and Nike. This new store brought in nearly 400 jobs. All right, back to our first alert weather now, taking a live look outside. Gorgeous shot of the Golden Gate Bridge, and it is dry out today, but that's going to change. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
Well, we're diving into a beautiful weekend forecast right around the corner. Starting up in the North Bay, areas like Novato all the way up into Santa Rosa are topping off in the mid to upper 60s in the forecast today. A little bit cooler along the coast. Half Moon Bay this afternoon at 60 degrees. We're sitting at 64 in Redwood City, 65 into San Jose. This is a great day to get out there and get some fresh air. And as we see the next couple of days right around the corner, we're going to continue to warm up as we head into our Saturday and Sunday forecast with beautiful, mild conditions each day. Now, this afternoon alone, we can see gusts up to around 20, 25 miles per hour, and our inland spots actually pushing offshore along the coast. We're getting that coastal influence, bringing in breezy conditions and nice, mild, humid conditions into the evening hours tonight. The winds will die down into the overnight hours tonight, and we're left with a sunny day again tomorrow. But the rain returns right around the corner as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We'll start seeing this cold front sweep in from offshore. It'll change the weather completely. We're seeing rainy conditions and gusty conditions at times. And to add to that, we're also going to watch our daytime highs drop significantly. So wetter than normal conditions. That's what the Climate Prediction Center is showing throughout the next 6 to 10 days. And we're noticing that influence already. We start off with our inland forecast alone. Today, we're sitting in the upper 60s in some parts of the Bay Area. For example, the Santa Clara Valley is going to be nice and warm this afternoon. We're getting a repeat of that tomorrow and Sunday with sunny skies. But once Monday rolls around, that's when our temperatures start to drop. That's when the rain starts to sweep in from offshore, and get ready for some gusty days ahead of us too for Tuesday and Wednesday as the rain starts to really amplify all throughout the Bay Area. We'll keep you updated with those rainfall totals here in the Weather Center. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you.
Rallies asking for people to stand up for science are underway all across the country today. Protesters pushing for a restoration of the Federal Scientific Fund and the reinstatement of fired employees. They say they also want the government to stop interfering with the science community's efforts to promote diversity, equity, and accessibility in science. Speakers at the rally in Washington, D.C. include lawmakers, representatives from the Union of Concerned Scientists, clinical trial participants, and patient advocates. In today's Project Earth, well, we all know plastic waste is a huge problem, with plastic bags and packaging as some of the major culprits. Now, a Bay Area startup has figured out a way to replace plastic bags thanks to a plant that grows abundantly off our coast. At the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve in Moss Beach, twice a day, a sensational event unfolds.
I said, oh, look, the water's down, let's go.
At low tide, the waves pull back to reveal a world teeming with marine life.
True, it's beautiful.
Growing on the rocks, seaweed, Mother Nature's miracle crop.
The seaweed does a lot of good while it's growing. It's creating habitat for biodiverse life. It's creating every other breath that you take. It's sequestering an immense amount of carbon. We love seaweed for lots of reasons,
including a remarkable new one.
We're using seaweed as a replacement for plastic.
Our material is 100% compostable, both in a home and an industrial setting.
Meet Julia Marsh and Matt Mays, the co-founders of Sway. It's a San Leandro-based startup. Using breakthrough technology, they've come up with a promising solution to a huge problem.
We're using the natural polymers, which is the plastic-like quality of seaweed, to replace flexible films and bags and wrappers and pouches that are causing so much pollution on our planet.
Seaweed contains high levels of a certain substance, a polymer that makes it stretchy. Using that polymer, the team created TPC, a bio-based resin that melts and stretches just like plastic.
So this is a very small-scale version of what's done in industry.
The beauty of the breakthrough, as seen on a small-scale test at Sway, it can be used in existing plastic manufacturing systems.
This is one of the more difficult processes for plastic extrusion, and to be able to say we're doing seaweed on it is pretty cool. So, yeah, I think it's really awesome.
This is kind of almost a catch-all for a material that can really just change the industry and impact our Earth in a fantastic way.
It's also home compostable and non-toxic.
The home composting certification test looks for breaking down within 180 days, and this is showing almost full disintegration of our material in these elevated conditions in like 2 to 3 weeks.
You can find Sway's seaweed formulations in food windows, product wrappers, and poly bags.
Our mandate, our goal is to include as much seaweed and as much bio-based content as possible into all of the products we're offering.
Sway sources its seaweed from farms around the world.
You give the seaweed a haircut when it's time. The seaweed regenerates.
For those at Moss Beach, they love the idea.
Seaweed, I think that's great. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
11 million tons of plastics enter the ocean every year. Sway is hoping to turn that around.
If there's more seaweed, the ocean's a healthier place, the planet's a healthier place.
From the sea back to the soil. For more information on Sway or what companies are now using their products, head to our website, kpix.com. Still ahead, San Francisco State considering major cuts to its athletics program. Why some students say they never expected this. Yet another Bay Area university having to make tough choices, trying to balance its budget. This time, San Francisco State announcing cuts to sports programs. Those cuts are going to be to the women's indoor track and field, along with men's baseball and soccer. The university cites a decline in enrollment and state budget cuts. Student athletes were shocked and caught off guard.
There was really no warning before, which really hurt us all. Tugged on the heartstrings a lot because we wanted to fight for this program.
All my actions are going to be for them. I'm going to help the seniors have the most special year they can have this year. Our underclassmen, I'm going to help them find baseball homes.
SF state leaders say that the school will work with student athletes to maintain any existing scholarships and will help those who want to transfer to other schools. San Francisco state officials telling us that the cuts at the department are needed because they are operating at a deficit. The president explaining in a statement, we must take this important step to give our athletics program an opportunity for long-term sustainability. I sincerely hope the economic outlook for the CSU and SF state improves in the future, allowing for the expansion of athletics. All right, well, get ready to lose an hour of sleep this weekend. It's coming. Time to move clocks forward for daylight saving. Why some health experts want to stop the time change. Daylight saving beginning this Sunday. That means we have to adjust our clocks forward 1 hour. Research does show that changing the clocks in spring and fall can impact productivity, our mental and physical health. To help adjust, doctors say expose yourself to bright light right away in the morning. Try to maintain a consistent schedule and minimize caffeine later in the day. Easier said than done. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app, and have a great Friday afternoon.